Good afternoon. 900 seats are being taken here inside the Crucible Theatre, and I hope you've cleared the decks and are settling in for one of the great days in sport. It's the 17th and final day in our annual snooker marathon in the Betfred World Championship, and what a story is unfolding in our Crucible final. Snooker's top man, the world #1, the defending champion, Mark Selby. Well, he does like to do things the hard way, and he'll have to again, because John Higgins, who's bidding for a 5th world title some 19 years after his first, is in vintage form again.
This is it, it's the big one. Welcome to the final of the 2017 Betfred World Snooker Championship. Two of the all-time greats waiting backstage. A man of immense courage and determination, the Wizard of Wishaw, John Higgins. As defending champion and world #1, he's the jester from Leicester, Mark Selby.
There's nothing like the final of the World Snooker Championship. You don't give Mark Selby anything, and the defending champion goes ahead.
Watch out, there's a wizard about.
He goes too clear now.
That is a huge frame for John Higgins to pinch there.
He's won 6 of the 8 frames, leading by 6 frames to 2.
Both players backstage looked a little bit nervy.
Can the defending champion take this second session?
He's keeping it tight, and it just gets worse for Mark Selby. He's now 6 frames behind.
Well, what a brilliant shot that is. The last 2 shots have been superb.
Still 4 behind, but he's got a foothold in the match now. He won't be happy with that. The match was beginning to slip away from Mark Selby. He's still 3 frames behind, all to play for.
Well, a fascinating first day here, Steve.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could have foreseen what was going to happen to Mark Selby by not coming out of the starting blocks quickly. John Higgins was looking the better of the two, 6-2 for the first session, and then the same in the evening. And I think, you know, Mark Selby would have been pleased to have come out only 7-10 behind.
Do you think he missed a trick last night, John Higgins?
I think so, yeah. A couple of colours, a pink especially into the middle pocket, and he would have probably slept the worst of the two overnight. But even so, you've got to say from John Higgins' perspective, he'd have bitten somebody's hand off to be 10-7 up against the world champion.
Now, you're supposed to be an expert. Give me a prediction.
Yes, I am, along with all the others, and I think I can safely say that I defy anybody to predict what's going to happen today.
John Higgins is featured here at the Crucible for the last 22 years. It took him only 4 attempts to land the title at 22 years of age in 1998. But then came the longest wait ever between victories at the Crucible, 9 years, until he did it again in a final a decade later against a young Mark Selby. 2 more titles followed in 2009 and 2011, and now, 6 years on, he's bidding to join Ronnie O'Sullivan with a 5th world title. Now, as for Mark Selby, that run to the 2007 final, where he'd roar back at Higgins after a bad start, served notice of his promise and his grit. And 7 years later, in 2014, Selby rebounded in his final to overtake Ronnie O'Sullivan then, and this time to win. Last year came a second success on the biggest stage in the sport against Ding Junhui, and he's going for a 3rd world title today. And Mark Selby's going to have to stage yet another dramatic comeback if he's to join Steve Davis and Stephen Hendry and Ronnie O'Sullivan as the only men to successfully defend the world title here inside the Crucible Theatre. In fact, only another couple of guys have even got close to doing that, including our own Ken Doherty.
Yes, Hazel, and this place has thrown up some fantastic comebacks in its 40-year history. Can Mark Selby become part of that history, or can John Higgins win his 5th world title at the age of 41, the oldest since Ray Reardon? You know, this place was like a marketplace only 5 minutes ago. It was bustling corridor. Now it's just the players. It's so quiet, you can cut the atmosphere with a knife. We got a little smile from John Higgins yesterday. We might get a thumbs up just today. You ready? John's ready. Mark is already ready. The players are ready. The crowd is ready. And I'm sure Rob Walker is ready too.
Thanks, Ken. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the day we crown the 2017 Betfred World Snooker Champion. We know both men have won it before. We know both men are desperate to get their name on the famous trophy once more. This, without doubt, has the makings of one of the all-time classic last days here at the sport's spiritual home, the Crucible. Please welcome a player who has been at the top of his sport for more than 2 decades. He is already regarded as one of the all-time greats. His form yesterday, the perfect reminder of why he's amassed 28 ranking titles in all, one of Scotland's finest sportsmen. Here comes the Wizard of Wishaw, John Higgins. And his opponent, a player whose journey has taken him from humble beginnings to the top of the world, and he's done it all with humour, humility and sheer class. Last night, the final 3 frames of the session proved just how good he is under pressure. It's a huge day for the defending world champion. He's the jester from Leicester. He's Mark Selby.
So settle in. This is the 3rd act of this year's Crucible final in what's a best of 35 frames match. A possible 18 more frames remain today, with 8 to play this afternoon, and we're going to share the first part of it in the company of 2 men who know what it's like to win one of snooker's 3 majors. In fact, 3 between you, I believe. Dennis Taylor and John Virgo.
Yes, thank you, Hazel. And of
Thank
course,
you, ladies and gentlemen. 18th frame, Mark Selby to break.
this is now becoming to a real titanic struggle, you feel. The buzz around the hotel last night, everybody was saying who's favourite. A lot of people said Mark Selby was favourite. I found that hard to believe, Dennis, being 3 frames behind. The sponsors have said it's 8 to 11 John Higgins, even money Mark Selby, but these 4 frames could be the key.
An awful lot of frames have been played throughout this year's World Championship, and John Higgins is playing his 100th frame, believe it or not. 41-year-old looking for that 5th world title. At one stage it looked as if we might not have an evening session the way John was going, but the defending champion came right back, as he did against Ronnie O'Sullivan in 2014. So it's very difficult to predict a winner. If John Higgins can keep sharing the little mini sessions, he'll be crowned champion. Easier said than done.
So just having a look here at this situation. There is a tempter to the left corner, but with the black and pink being out of commission, an awful lot to do with the cue ball, so playing safe, but he's got to avoid that red near the left-hand cushion. Caught it very thin. I'm not certain he played to hit it that thin and catching the yellow. It's not a good safety. But once again, that red on the left-hand side of the table, risky pot, and hard to see a reward for it.
got a good length of the cue ball, and that red is covered. It's gone towards the corner pocket, as you can see there. Some brilliant tactical play between these two players. It really was. And I mean, the high breaks, when they get a chance, John had that magnificent 141 and Mark 121, so they're even in the safety success department now. That's for the whole tournament. And for this match, well, they're so evenly matched. John just ahead in this match.
Yes, and maybe that's why Mark Selby's 3 frames behind when you look at those stats. I always think in the potting and the safety, you've got to be 90% or above. So this is what Mark's looking at. The problem is he's got that red near the corner and he's frightened to leave that. So can he nestle up to it? Can he get in behind it? Trying to get back to balk and not leave the red. Almost impossible. Played a thin one. Missed it on the way up, caught it on the way back, but has left this red on.
I'm just looking at it, John, as we show you the shot again. He needed a thin contact, but the red he's left over the pocket is almost straight. And the pink and black are tied up, and Mark will realise that as he sits down. Has he got a little bit of angle to get? He's got to get towards the blue. There is a gap back through those reds, and he's got a slight angle, but you've got the perfect picture there to see if he gets that gap for the blue. Now he's catching the other red.
1.
So it wasn't quite as bad as we first thought when Mark missed the red completely going up. It's a tricky little blue, this, with the rest, John.
Yeah, if it was straight, you wouldn't expect him to miss it. But as far as John's concerned, he can see the cue ball, the object ball, but he can't see the pocket, so he's got to pick out the angle and believe. We'll know whether it's in before he does. No. And it was made tough, as I say. If it was a straight
John
blue,
Higgins, 1.
there wouldn't have been a problem. So it just shows you, Dennis, as we see so many times, you make a bad mistake, and the next thing you know, you're back at the table, reds are open, and I think the pink is now available.
Well, that'll be key because the blue's gone safe. The black's out of commission, but you can clearly see the pink will just go there. So that's all he's got to work with at the moment. Green and brown, I suppose, if he gets the wrong side. In fact, he was the wrong side of the red, so
1.
had to play for the green.
Four.
You get to a stage in these type of situations where you don't know whether to take a risk. I mean, there was a possibility there of potting the red to the left corner, maybe trying to bring the black into play. It's whether it's worth the risk to try and open the frame and give you a chance to score heavily. But I'm certain that Mark Selby knows the importance of this first mini session, if you like, these 4 frames. If he can win 3 of the 4, he's only going to be 1 behind. He's thinking about it. He's thinking whether it's worth it. Pot the red and try and bring the black into play. I don't blame him. We thought the pink went before, Dennis, and I'm surprised he didn't play for it when he went up for the green, but it looks like it goes. Well, he decided to go back up for a baulk colour. The reason I say that, the thin potting angle, he couldn't hold for the pink.
5.
He's back in a similar position again, believe it or not. So it's not going to be easy to score many from this situation. Back up the table again, this time having to use the other red as a little cannon to get up there. Well, he could avoid the cannon, but
10.
he'd like to take that one again. Having said that, he slipped past the blue. It looked like he was going to land on the blue there. And there's the wonderful Crucible theatre, and I love this shot as you zoom in and it shows you the length of the table. 12 foot by 6 foot.
Yeah, I know he was looking at the brown being so tight to the cushion. I thought, why isn't he going to play the snooker?
Mark Selby.
And that for me is the right shot. Top brown, we're going to get close to the red. And John Higgins will do well to keep this safe. And particularly when you're coming off a cushion quickly, it's hard to judge sometimes.
Yeah, that's the one that he would love to play. Just land on the back of that. Can he pick the angle up with being so close? Doesn't want to slip around the back of it. Oh, has he left it? It won't cut back. It's far too thin. He's taking the pot on here, but it's a sort of a free shot. Tried to get on the yellow, but even that wasn't going to be easy had he potted the red. Just a little bit of an awkward frame here. Playing the safety shot, but he just looked at the plant, but highly unlikely that he would plant one red onto the other with that distance between them.
Yeah, but what he needed was a good cue ball, and he's not got that. A little bit pacey, that safety. And I think Mark will be able to get his hand on the table in the yellow, not interfere with the bridge hand. Second out from the left is the 1. 3/4 ball pot. Does bridge long sometimes. Can he get his hand on the table? No, he's bridging long. Look how far that cue's away from his bridge hand. Oh, result. And that, Dennis, at the end of the day, sums up snooker really, doesn't it? You know, and this match could swing on a run of the ball here, a fluke, a plant that appears from nowhere.
Yes, you can't beat a bit of luck at any sport, but as we show you this attempt, once he missed it, he thought, I'm going to put John right in amongst them, and then all of a sudden he gets that, well, double kiss twice. Is that a double kiss? But amazing. But if you can get away with it, as you say, John, it can make all the difference. Usually evens itself out over 4 sessions.
the one thing that John was desperate to do there, that red on the right-hand side of the table, cover it with the green. Otherwise, he'd have left an easy safety shot for Mark. And the fact that Mark's not looking at that red tells me that he has covered it. And Mark, if he's playing back to the balk end, has the same problem. Little tap of the table. As I say, I mean, normally you'd be playing to get to the balk cushion, but if you did that, you'd have left the red, and there's no gap there.
Yeah, that's finished awkward. He can hit the red that's next to the blue, but not easy to send it up the table. Leave the white back in the safety area because he could cannon into the blue if he tried that. There's a few frames like this yesterday, which were also fascinating to see who was going to make the first mistake. But it's an awkward table. The black's surrounded with 5 reds there. Well, that didn't look possible. He took the pot on. It didn't look possible to overcut that shot.
Yes, Denison, that's probably why he missed it, isn't it? It's one of those you'd be playing, thinking, if I can hit this as thin as I can, it must go in. To overcut it, as you say, remarkable. Look, if Mark Selby, as we watch this overcut, if he can't get through it to it direct, he can play one onto the other here. That's what he's playing, one red onto the other.
Switch that light off, please.
And, well, it looks like he's on the black, and if he's on the black, this opens up the frame completely.
What a bonus that is. It didn't look as if the black would go from the overhead shot. And is it tied up now?
Well, I think you'll be hoping it still goes. Well, it doesn't look as though it does. Because, amazingly enough, he didn't move many reds there, did he? No, it doesn't go now. And okay, he's got this easy red over the left corner, but he's hampered. And I don't think the pink goes into the right middle. So take the easier red. Bit more to do with the cue ball, though.
Nine.
Well, this table's playing beautifully because that didn't look as if it was going to get round the angles and the pace of the table. I know they were a bit concerned about the cushion behind the black not bouncing correctly, but seems to be playing beautifully. And gradually turning into a decent chance.
13.
The pink's in the clear, a couple more loose reds. Like there's probably 4 potable reds.
But
he didn't hit that hard enough. That was a poor shot from Mark. He should have been straighter on the pink. Now he's got a bit of a problem.
Yes, he tried to let the side do the work, played it with lots of right-hand side, but for whatever reason, as you say, Dennis, he's finished well short. And, okay, he can pot the pink, but he's taking the cue ball away from the reds, and surely it's too risky to play the pink in the middle. Just struggled its way in, but it was never going to be good on the next red. It's a good pot here to keep it going.
Well, there it looked as if the pink wasn't going in. It wobbled 3 times. Have a look. 1, 2, 3, and in. Any harder, it would have missed.
Tremendous pot, but no position. When it's one of those, you really tough shot and you put all your concentration, which you have to, into the pot. Great hit. Look at that when you play it with pace. This super slow-mo never ceases to be amazing, because we never realise how much the balls bounce off the table, and particularly with these super fine cloths. Just have a look at this again.
Yeah, of course, when we were playing, John, there was no such thing as slow motion cameras.
Well, we had Terry Griffiths.
Settle down, please. Mark Selby, 21.
Much too thin with a chance for Mark Selby. He's got a 30-point lead. So needs this time to get good position on the pink.
One.
Doesn't want to be straight. There is a red. There you see it. If you just look to the left of the black as we look at that shot, that is potable. And the one below the black is, can he get across to that side of the table off this pink? He's got an angle, but he's got to avoid the red near the left-hand cushion. So he couldn't. So he's played for the red just below the black. But he's going to be awkward queuing here. Just needs another 17 points from this situation to get to the snooker's required stage. There you go, hampered. Striking down. Oh, good shot.
I keep saying it, I've never seen anyone as good as Mark Selby when he's bridging over a ball. He's amazing because he not only gets the pot, he seems to generate enough pace to get the position. I mean, it's such a difficult shot striking down on the cue ball like that, but he is the best I've ever seen at it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You pointed it out the other day, Dennis. I'd never really thought about it, but yeah, excellent. But he looks to be a bit straight on this pink. So what is there? A plant? Does he see a plant?
40.
Wow. Does he think he can make this into a plant? I can only assume that, because otherwise, why would you play this shot? Well, I think he's playing safe.
Mark Selby, 40.
It was too straight on the pink, couldn't do anything about it. And he knows the importance of this frame. When he came to the Crucible Theatre, he had one priority in his mind: win the first frame. And he's favourite to do that now.
Foul.
Oh, he's hit the brown.
And a miss. Mark Selby, 4.
Well, good luck with replacing these.
No, I don't think he'll be having them put back. Well, I hope he's not going to have them put back, and so is Jan Verhaas.
Ready?
He's having a glance at Mark, but thankfully he's playing it from here. That was the side he put on that. It just threw it into the brown.
Thanks.
He's kept this frame very, very tight, has Mark Selby. John Higgins hasn't had a pot to look at. Well, this is not a bad shot. Purposely played it with a bit of pace because of the situation of the brown and blue. And his favourite now to take 4 frames in a row. It really was a terrific display last evening to win the last 3. Well, there was one person in the Crucible like that last shot, the lone clapper.
The red's running loose. He needs a good cue ball. Where's the cue ball going? In the pocket.
Mark Selby, 4.
Just call it a fraction too thick, the safety. And of course, ball in hand. Sitter of a red to the middle. This red and the black will put him 60 points in front with just 59 remaining.
Yeah.
He's got to be careful there. He left the rest on the table, and Jan Verhaas was looking at him stretching over the blue, because if you touch one of the balls with the cue or the rest, it's a foul shot.
Yes, and when you finish your shot with the rest, You have to give it the referee. You have to take it off the table, but that's the ball that means John Higgins needs a snooker. And highly unlikely he'll get back to the table now.
8.
Didn't really have much chance, and if there was any little run of the ball going in this frame, it certainly went the way of Mark Selby.
9.
One particular long shot that he missed and got the double kiss, which left it safe. But just the start the defending champion was looking for. He'll know in the back of his mind of
15.
the 8 frames that have got to be played in this session, he wants to win them at least 5-3.
16.
He wants to win this session. He's got the perfect start.
Sorry, Mark. 23.
Not quite.
23.
I don't think John Higgins will bother coming back to the table. He doesn't, he nods a concession, so just the start that Mark Selby was looking for. And he's now reduced his arrears to 2, but he trails 10-8.
Steve, John, myself and all of you watching this final eagerly, and the awaited comeback is on, because having won the last 3 last night, John, there's a bit of deja vu about this in a finals perspective for Mark, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, it's virtually the same scorelines with Ronnie O'Sullivan. He was 8-3 down in this one, he was same thing, 10-4 down, 10-7 in this, so it's looking like exactly the same. And of course, he came back to beat Ronnie 18-14, so he's got previous.
He sure has, and it's become something of a trademark, something of a speciality for Mark Selby, this comeback, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly is, and obviously that first frame very important to try and get it on the board. So it was understandably a bit of a sort of tactical frame where nobody was really trying to take any risks, and I think the way that he's won it, he'll be quite pleased with it. You know, he never actually had to sort of make any big decisions. You know, really big decisions to sort of put it all on the line.
It was funny, actually, because it was a virtually identical frame to the one Higgins played last night. Remember when he was 8-4 and he played a granite, what you call an amateur frame, where he just nicked everything and ran away. And it was a bit of that in that one. He was so determined to win the frame. It didn't matter how he won it. He just wanted to win it.
Effectively, the start of every session is a bit like the two boxers sort of feeling each other out. And then as the session unfolds, the players open up a bit, take more and more risks, get into it once they know their cue arm's going right. But
Thank you.
yeah,
Frame
John's going to
19.
be looking over his shoulder a bit at the moment. He's got to
John
sort
Higgins
of steady the ship in a way.
Yes, and that was the longest frame of this final so far. I think many people had expected an attritional final, but it's been very free-flowing and hugely enjoyable.
Not a bad break off. Just the one red come out there, and the pyramid's more or less intact. The other red come back in. But it looks as if Mark Selby's set his stall out to play a very, very tight snooker here to get right back in this. It seems as if he's going to make life very difficult for John Higgins, and he's not going to be risking anything. And with the red up the other end of the table, an early stalemate.
Not touching any red, otherwise Jan Verhaas, our referee, would have declared that.
He'll just roll back into them again because he can't take that red next to the yellow from that position. If he gets a chance, he could do and send it back up the table, get the frame back to normal, but this is all that's available at the moment.
Maybe a touching ball now. No? No.
Some referees would find it difficult to see from that position whether they were touching or not, but Jan Verhaas doesn't have a problem. He's about 6'4". 23 years he's been refereeing, John.
Yes, and he's been one of our best referees, no doubt about it. And that's going to get the frame back to normal. John wants that to run a little bit. I think he's a little bit short of pace. He wanted to cover the red near the yellow, because if Mark can get to the right hand side of the red as he looks, quite an easy return to balk.
6 hours of tough match snooker. I don't think he can hit that red without swerving it. And that's what he's going to do. He's got the butt of the cue up in the air to bend it around the green. And that's the frame back to normal again. Now, John Higgins knocked a pot like this in yesterday, and he was bridging over the yellow. It was an incredible long red. And he's got it again. What a shot, boy. What brilliant cueing to knock that in. And if he can keep his eye on the black and just hit the side of the pack, it'll be a chance. Why hit it that, Howard?
John Higgins, 1.
It was as if he wasn't ready to play the shot. Yeah. That's the third black he's missed off the spot.
1.
Not going to be easy to score until he can get the reds open, but he's got an angle on the blue here. Someone moving in his line of sight there, but he's playing this with a terrific amount of left-hand side. He's going to go between the yellow and brown off the side. Bottom side cushion and into the reds. Oh, look at this shot. Look at this shot he's played.
Committed much better than that. The pace he generated into the cue ball, particularly as he was stunning in between the yellow and brown. Now you'd think, first chance he gets, get up the table, get the pink back down at this end. Don't know the black you can get on, but you'd like to have the pink back at this end. I want to keep going up for blue or balk colour. Just checking to see if he can get position on the black. He could play for the black and still be on the blue. Stunning round off 2 cushions. Needs to miss the blue.
7.
And he didn't. So it's just, well, he may be able to cut the pink in. I'd rather be thinking of cutting the pink in than trying to find a path for the cue ball in potting the blue. Depends how difficult he thinks the pink is. But he's going for the pink.
Well, he didn't quite hit that as thin as he intended because it went in off the jaw. That's why the white hasn't
13.
come back up the table. Have a look at this. So a bit further away from this red than he would have liked as the pink wobbles again. There is a path round the back of that red that's near the cushion. Oh, now then, what's he left? If he's got away with this, that's amazing. He's had, in the first 2 frames, he's had all the run of the ball. I mean, very, very fortunate there. And John smiling to himself, but what a difference that makes when you make a mistake like this and leave absolutely nothing.
That's why we say it's a cruel game. And he's no real good safety shot on here, John. Can't play to the balk end because the red near the balk cushion. So just having to play a containing safety. But as you say, Dennis, in these longer matches, there's time for it to turn around.
And we could be in for another longish frame now that the red is up the other end of the table and that one has joined it. It's just up past the blue spot. So another very awkward looking frame. Neither player likes this sort of frame. I used to hate these frames, John.
Yeah, well, it's just a case of tip-tapping for a while. But the one thing that John Higgins did there when he played that red, he did bring the black into play. So he's thinking positive, he's thinking get the colours open, so if I do get a chance, I could make a sizable contribution, so it's an important safety exchange this now. Still nothing for John Higgins to go at, so just a little drop into the red, you would imagine. Well, digging in. This is dangerous, this. Gotta find this top cushion. He didn't find the top cushion, but maybe not left anything, but the pink's now gone safe. And the fact he didn't find the top cushion, you'd expect Mark Selby to play a better safety shot than that. Just looking if he hits that bottom one, will the red go towards the left middle?
There's already 7 reds up the other end of the table. There might be a few more before we resolve this situation. This was John's shot as he tried. Look at the white. And when it bounces like that, it takes the backspin off it. This was the last thing that John Higgins wanted, 2 frames like this. He had a 3-frame advantage. He hasn't had a shot at a ball, really. He hasn't been in amongst them at all. Anytime Mark's missed, he's left John safe. Patience. That's the key at the moment.
Well, he's trying to get this cue ball back to the top cushion. It's not easy. Yeah, the reason players don't like these type of frames, because whether someone goes for a risky pot or you just can't get it safe, all the reds are there now for the taking. So you know one mistake and it could be your last shot in the frame. It's flicked it. Is it going over the middle? Is it coming over the middle pocket? Just stop short.
Well, there's only 3 reds left now at this side of the table. Well, what an unusual frame.
He gives this plenty of thought. This sort of the obvious shot. He's just frightened that the second red might not want towards the far left corner here.
Well, look at this now, John. There's only 1 red left on this side of the table. I don't think I've ever seen a frame quite like this.
Yeah,
settle down, please. Thank you.
When Jan Verhaas set them up, the table was lovely, neat and tidy. He made a right mess of it.
Now they're, oh, he's left it. Can you believe that? To wobble and go across. Because I was starting to think, where was the safety going to be? There's nothing up this end to play behind, but that red to go over the other corner pocket. Just a run of the ball, still certainly not favouring John.
One.
It's going to have to be the green, I think. But if he can get the blue back on its spot in a couple of shots' time, all of a sudden he'll have a chance.
Four. Five.
Yeah, he was very unlucky there, John Higgins. 'Cause I'm sure he was just trying to, the red he played, he was trying to just knock it onto the cushion and send the black back up the table. I'll show you it again, because he's not playing to pot this, there's no colour available. He was playing it onto the cushion to hit the black, send it up the table, and it wobbled in the jaws and stayed over the other corner pocket. Very unfortunate.
There's only the 3 colours that you can play for at the moment, Mark. You won't be risking playing for
11.
the pink or the black, or even the brown. The red he'd like to get rid of sooner rather than later is the one that's immediately to the right of the blue at the moment. That's stopping the blue going into both middle pockets. So he's just playing an area here. But if you could get on that red, it'd be a bonus. But there's other reds to play for, obviously. If you could get on this red... Ooh, it looks pretty
16.
good. As I say, he's played for a choice of maybe 3 reds, but this would be the red, the one to the right, the blue he'd love to be on. And the only reason that's deterring him from it, he's hampered. So he'll play for the green and yellow now.
$70.
Already got a 29-point lead. Big favourite now to take this second frame of this 3rd session.
$20. 21.
I think the red just above from the yellow goes to the far left corner, so the reds that he needs are in the open, but he's going to need more reds, obviously, the more low value colours he takes.
Yeah, he's going to have to pot an awful lot of balls for not many points, but as long as he keeps potting them, he'll get to the winning line in this frame.
25.
And he's well on his way to winning 5 frames in a row. Where's he finished here? 40 ahead, so still needs a few
28.
more. I think he can just stun in between the 2 reds and back out for a choice of yellow or green here.
$29.
Now, there's the sidebar. Now, according to that, he needs another
31.
9 points to get to Snooker's required. So that, with yellow and green, which seems to be what he's playing for, that's another 3 reds required.
32.
Not quite a formality just yet.
Well, there's what he's potted. He's potted 2 blues, 4 greens, and a yellow. Make that 2 yellows.
Yes, and clever thinking. 46
34.
points of lead. Red and a blue will put him 52 points in front with just 51 remaining. So that's how he's got his 9 points. Red, yellow, red, blue.
Doesn't really matter, being the wrong side of the blue. Just make sure of the blue, and he won't try to power this in and get up for the 2 reds that are near the other cushion. Just might play and leave a double on the other red. But he's kept his concentration. He didn't rush this break because it's such an unusual situation to be in with all the reds up the other end of the table, and it's not a straightforward sort of break, so you've got to plan your way around it. Whereas if you're in amongst the pink and black, it's fairly straightforward.
Mark Selby, 40.
So it took well over 8 minutes to compile that 40 break, but it was a very important break. And with the pink and black as they are, you wouldn't give John much chance in this frame. There's nothing to play behind up here.
Well, it's that red. I just think about the red just behind the yellow, but I don't think John can get through to it. Well, can he? Good shot. But to keep it at 1 snooker required, he needs to be on the black, so he's going to have to play the double.
Yeah, no other shot available to him. He was a bit unlucky to cannon that. And he looks round at Mark Selby and he concedes the frame. What a start for the defending champion. 2 very tactical frames. He's taken both of them, and all of a sudden he's just 1 frame behind at 10-9.
John Higgins won 5 in a row earlier in this final, and that's 5 in a row for Mark Selby. And really, he was gifted the chance by John Higgins, who's had an excellent red to begin with, but there's black off the spot. And as Dennis said, it's the 3rd time in the final.
It never looks good when you miss them. It looks like you've bashed at it. If it goes in the middle and you split the reds open, it's like, you know, it's the hero shot. But John Higgins at the moment is reeling a bit. 10-4, it's tough to get that lead out of your brain, and all of a sudden you're really being reeled back in. And we know full well that frames can be won on the bounce by any player, and bigger frames and bigger leads have been lost here in the final. And I know what that feels like, to have somebody breathing up behind your on your shoulder. Somewhere down the line, John will sort of steady the ship. But it's usually when all of a sudden parity sort of sets in, and then you sort of can start to compete again. So it's been tough for John Higgins, and you can see he's not happy. He's been sort of looking up at the commentary box and a few things. The light apparently he thinks is a bit bright. It's probably no different to yesterday, but it's just how he's sensing it.
Do you feel, John, that yesterday was such a golden opportunity with Selby so far off his game yesterday? It was quite extraordinary to witness, actually, that perhaps he's kicking himself. He didn't take further advantage last night.
He would have been like that. I mean, Stephen mentioned when we were talking in the studio, he said about an hour and a half or 2 hours, and I agree with him. You know, when he first got initially, he'd have been steaming, really, that it was only 10-7. But you look back and someone said, would you like a 10-7 lead? Yeah. You'd have said yes. But it's still there. It's still in the back of your mind. It's just the way of how you approach it. But at the moment, Mark Selby's just played 2 rock-hard frames, 2 real good, hard match-play frames. And slowly but surely, he's clawing his way back, as he always does.
Yes. As we speak, if you were being ultra-critical, you say John Higgins currently has folded a bit. If he, in the after-match interview, if he loses this match, he will say, I blew it. But that's at the highest possible level against one of the greatest players that's ever played the game. So it's it's not that embarrassing, so to speak.
There's
still a long way to go.
Yes. Fairness, I mean, we can have a look at John Higgins, but he put a terrific long red. Okay, Mr. Black off the spot, which you can do, and I agree. He didn't hit it smoothly, but he hasn't really had a decent chance yet, Dennis.
And he's had a bad run of the ball. It has to be said, Mark Selby's got away with it a few times when he made a mistake. He sort of had a series of little cannons and left everything safe. So John hasn't really been in amongst the balls yet. So let's see if he can get going.
Never easy though, striking down. Of course, he's hit it too full. That's why the cue ball's only reached the blue spot area.
Yeah, much too thick. And the red he missed is the one that Mark can pot, but I'm not sure if he can get round the back of the black to take it into the right corner, because it's not available into the left corner at the moment. Oh! Well, he took his eye. He was concentrating on getting round, and he's played it with a touch aside. Has he got away with it again? If he's got away with this again, he's had another result. But he was concentrating so much in getting round the back of the black there.
Well, this is the one instance, as we see that red missed, where you'd come to the table and just be glad that your opponent didn't punish you. Okay, lucky not to leave anything easy, but I'd just be glad to be back at the table.
Wow, what a red this would be to knock in. It will pass the blue. And it's there. Now this is the first proper chance that John's had.
Eight.
He'll be kicking himself. He's missed a sitter.
Nine.
And didn't leave anything easy. In all honesty, that was a tremendous opening pot from John Higgins. And John will recognise the importance of this visit now, to punish your opponent when they miss
14.
when they're in. He's got to sit there now and suffer.
15.
This was it. As Dennis said, he had always his attention was on trying to get round the back of the black, and just, oh look, it nearly dropped. Was it this too hard? Okay, he's still got the pot
20.
on, but he's not perfect position by any means.
Good recovery. Now he'd love to get on the red. That's next to the black. He's having a look at the yellow, and he's quite an attacking player, John. He might even decide to go straight into the pink and reds. Just depends how he feels. It looks as if he's playing for the split here. And he's played it well. How's your luck, John? He's stuck on them.
23.
He thought about playing the green and screwing back for the red next to the black, and then he's decided I'll take the bull by the horns and try and split them. This is an awkward little angle, this. Yeah, well played.
24.
Couldn't really get the other side of the blue. It was a delicate little shot he played. He had to be careful not to push it, and he did well.
Yeah, the blues taking him away from the reds. The pink, that would offer a certain position, but the pink is missable. The blue, you would think, isn't. Hence the blue, but more work to do with the cue ball.
Got the top spin, but didn't find the gap.
29.
Yeah, plenty of top spin on it, but needed to get between the brown and yellow there. But this is a much more open frame than the two previous, where the balls went very awkward indeed. Needs to get a good length with the cue ball here, and the brown's slightly in the way of coming back down the table. That's why he's taking this one the right side of the table. Safety shot he's playing.
I'm amazed he's playing this, hampered by the yellow. This could go over the opposite corner pocket here. Well, I'll tell you what.
29.
What a good shot that was. Hampered over the yellow. I can't think of many players that would have chosen that as the safety. Well played.
This is a huge frame for John Higgins. Needs to stop the rot. 5 in a row he's lost. Oh, what a shot he's played there. And John Higgins just tapping the table there. I mean, there's no brown there, so there's only the yellow and green to try and get in behind.
Yeah, tapping the table. I don't think I've been tapping in my day. I always believe that players, when they play those safeties, are trying to get near the baulk cushion, not creep behind the yellow as Mark did. Two cushion escape with pace. Oh, just missed it.
Foul. Miss. Mark Selby.
Very close. Sure, Mark will have it replaced. All depends where the brown was, really.
Well, he went in off the brown, so he'll have a pretty good idea. Mind, they've got the monitor there.
Oh, touched it.
Yep, it's on it.
Yep.
Brendan
Yep.
Moore,
Yep.
one of the top referees. He's on
To me again.
marking duties.
To me.
To me again.
Keep coming to me.
Keep coming. He's like a car park attendant.
Stop.
I can't see the screen.
I can't move your hand, Jan. Yeah, move your hand. A touch to you. Yeah.
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 John. Mark. Thank you.
That's near enough. Yeah. That's spot on. Now this is so tough to judge. If he hits at a half ball, he might come down and hit the red and the pink, but if he hits the red thin, it'll be a great shot. Oh, he's done the same thing again now.
Miss.
Even John smiles.
Mark Selby 4.
Yeah, we had it put back, so car park attendant again. Better missing it a couple of times.
This one's good.
Giving 8 away. It's nice to see that. They've just had a little chat with each other, John and Mark. And that was nice to see.
Yeah. Okay, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark. Thank you.
Smiles all around, but now back to the serious stuff. Can he just catch that red?
Yeah, and as you said, he doesn't want to catch it half ball because he could kiss the pink. So third time lucky, is it? Oh, hello.
Well. Selby 4. Again, please.
Have you ever seen anything like that before?
The one thing is certain, Dennis, you've got to applaud the referee and the scorer for putting the brown back in the same place.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
The white actually could do a little. The white to me.
There we go.
You'll be quiet, please, for a second. Thank
Cue
you.
ball to me a touch. Yeah.
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 John. Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on, let's clip it this time, John.
Brilliant! Brilliant! Now that deserves a tap on the table.
Well, nice to see. That relieves a bit of tension, I can tell you. Because there was a lot of tension in those two opening frames. He enjoyed that. He can get down off the red to the left of the pink here. He needed a bit more pace than that. Come up short of the balk line. Will Mark Selby be tempted? He's looking at... Yeah, he can get on the black here if he hits this correct. In fact, he might be able to cut the other one in, John, behind it. Play it as a shot to nothing. Look where he's finished. Right on the black. Oh, that's curled. That's a bit like the old cloths with a nap on it, because when it set off, have a look at this now, when it set off, that wasn't going in the pocket, and then all of a sudden it curled nicely in. Amazing.
None. $16.
points now, all square. Black to come. And all the reds he needs in the middle of the table. Okay, they may be covering one another at the moment, but one good cannon and the frame will be at his mercy.
Mark Selby, 17.
Well, amazing. How many times have we seen that where they take their eye off the pot? He was concentrating so much on the cannon. Now, Mark's now missed 3 blacks off the spot. And that's the chance that John Higgins has been waiting for.
Yes, and it seems at the moment that that's where the chances are coming from. Unexpected misses from either player. You always look in matches at pivotal moments. This could be one. Never saw that coming. He wasn't hitting the black too hard. And all the reds he needed, as they are now for John, in the middle of the table.
8.
What happened here?
Nine.
And I always think when you get these chances, Dennis, you know, and you've been sat in your chair thinking, well, I've lost the frame. You come to the table with a bit more relief and not so much pressure on you. You're just glad to be back at the table.
16.
And there you go. Just needs another 25 points to get to the snooker's required stage. So that equates to 4 more reds.
$17.
Well, it's not a straightforward run to the winning post in this frame. So the red next to the pink is out of commission. There's one near the cushion. John mentioned he needed 4 reds. I like this shot. Oh, he's okay. I like that shot because the red was always going to be over the middle
24.
pocket. And he freed the other red that he was going to need. Oh, this is
25.
not where he wanted the cue ball. Okay, he's got the brown there, but that was strange. That was just a bit of adrenaline, I think.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, this was a terrific shot because he had the red over the middle pocket. Now, can he judge this a bit better than the previous one?
$29.
Good straight cueing needed here. Red, black, and 1 more red. Good solid cueing.
30.
Nicely on the black. Looks like he's going to get the first frame on the scoreboard. His first frame of this session.
37.
Just the red needed. That will give Mark Selby a lot to think about, because he was taking control of this final there, the way things were going, and then all of a sudden, black off the spot. John Higgins and all his fans will be feeling much better now. His brother Jason's here as well, as his wife Denise. His mum Josephine was down as well,
51.
so they'll be very relieved. It's worse for the family watching than it is out there playing. And there's Denise, and she'll be delighted. She's always got that lovely smile.
56.
Badly needed this, John, didn't he?
Yes, and as we said before, it's not as if the players are making these openings, just feeding off the mistakes.
$65.
So this will make John Higgins feel an awful lot better. Mark Selby looked to have the frame at his mercy, missed the black off the spot. John Higgins will be mighty relieved. It might settle him down now. He's 2 frames ahead again. It's now 11-9. One more to play before the mid-session interval.
Yeah, the first frame he's won since 22-10 last night. And psychologically, how important just to keep Mark Selby from drawing level with him. He's still got him at arm's length, but absolutely littered with mistakes.
I mean, there's 2 misses in that frame there for Mark Selby. The first one on the red in the middle pocket, you can't believe he's missed this. I mean, you've got a little trace aside on it, but that's never a red he's going to miss. And then, of course, he's come on the black here. And the funny thing is, I said to you, we were off here, and I said, this will be interesting to see if he makes something here. And we know we're talking about the world #1 and the defending champion and everything, but there's something psychological about drawing level. Yeah. There's something about that when you've done all the hard work to graft your way back in, when you can win the frame just to go 10-10. There's something about it that seems to add a little bit of pressure. And I actually thought there might have been a mistake there.
And I think what's very clear, abundantly clear, is that neither of them are impervious to pressure in this final. It's fascinating.
I know. I mean, 2 of the greatest match players the game's ever seen, 2 of the greatest scorers on their days, and they are playing like scared kittens at the moment, and it's marvellous for it, you know. And I don't think it's impossible to predict how it's going to come. It's just, I don't see at the moment how anybody's going to take the game by the scruff of the neck. Thanks, but somebody probably will. But I think the game of snooker is littered with mistakes at the lower class level. We don't usually see it in the world final.
All the more exciting for us, Steve.
Last frame before the mid-session interval. Can John Higgins take it and share this little mini session, 2 frames all, and keep that 3-frame advantage he had at the start of this session? No, I think everyone thought it was going to slip in behind the brown, but
yeah, John can get through to the side of the reds. Of course, when you get to these final sessions of a World Championship, Dennis, Mark Selby would have come out today, set himself a little goal to win 3 of the first 4 frames. Having won the first 2, if John Higgins can win this next frame, and it's as you were, so to speak, it will be a blow to Mark Selby. And particularly when he looks back and sees the black off the spot he missed in the last frame when he looked to have it at his mercy. So there's a lot of pressure on Mark here. If he comes out of this little mini session of 4 frames, 2 apiece, he will not be happy. And neither should he be. He's had the run of the ball, he's had the opportunities, and not taken them.
And just maybe that little situation where John kept missing and going in off the brown, and he was having a laugh with Mark and the crowd, maybe that has just settled him down. As we see, not only a plant, but look at the kiss on the brown. Well, that's, you can't pick that shot out. He's very good at angles, but that was an amazing plant, and the kiss on the brown. Boy.
Yeah, John will be thinking it was a bit forward. The only thing, I think Mark Selby, and I've always said he's a shot maker, he didn't put his hand up and apologise, so maybe he thought there was half a chance of that red going near the pocket. But yeah, I agree with you, to get it. How many times in 100 would you knock it in?
Five. 6.
Well, the black's tied up with the 2 reds there, the pink's tied up. Mark will go straight into the pink, you would feel, and scatter them and develop not only reds and the pink, but could also even clear one of the reds away from the black. Now, how does he feel? How hard will he hit it? Pretty hard, but did free the black, but look
11.
where it's put it. At least he's got the pink and blue to work with.
Well, now this will be interesting when the pink is back on its spot. Is it going to be available into any pockets? As you say, Dennis, with the black out of commission. Okay, he's got the blue bought colours, but he needs the pink as well to be available. Just going round 18. To see if it goes into the right corner. Looks as though it will. Not necessarily will he play for the pink here, but the pink does go into the opposite corner.
19.
And he did play for it. Felt he could hold. Played it nicely. Now, no easy misses here. Full concentration.
$25. 26.
They're all covering each other now, those reds, so he needs a bit of an angle on the pink to try and come back off the cushion and disturb some. Playing it with topspin and right hand side. Yeah, he's a little bit annoyed with where he left the cue ball. It makes it very difficult to bring the reds into play, but I mean, he's got the cue power to do it.
Yeah, the only downside of this, I think, to get into the reds, he's going to have to play it with right hand side. And with a lot of pace, he's going to have to judge the throw of the side. Makes the pink missable.
Well, that tells me he's not even going to attempt that. He's going to pot the pink and looking at another very difficult plant. He'll be playing the safety shot also, but I mean, that first plant was quite incredible if he played it. This is a bit easier, but even that's difficult. So, he's played to leave the plant.
Well, yeah, but
32.
Well, I'll be amazed if he plays it. It's too risky, surely. Because there's no way he can guarantee it being safe. I mean, if the cue ball was going back to the balk playing the plant, I'd say, okay, have a go. But I know, as I said earlier, he's a shot maker. I can't believe that this is the right shot.
And neither can he
Mark Selby
on this
30.
occasion. Yeah, the first plant they went in, he was playing it as a shot to nothing, but as you mentioned, John, he could play that 100 times, the opening plant, and he'd be lucky to get it 5 or 6 times. In fact, it's worth another look at the opening one. I mean, take some judgment, that. And that was a useful nudge in the brown, but it was a sort of a free shot.
Yes, and sometimes you see those sort of shots, you know you got a good angle to get back to balk. And the significant thing to me was he didn't put his hand up and apologise, which he would have done had it been totally unexpected. Well, you can't get a better length of cue ball than that. John Higgins having a look at these two reds. They're not a plant. There's a gap. They could be made. The fear I'd have, if you hit it too thick, you could cannon the red near the black. He did cannon the red near the black. Now where's the red going to go? John's turn to have a little bit of run.
Just coming up to the minute mark for thinking time here. trying to make. Ultra safe here. But surprised he played that shot.
Touching ball.
Oh, well, that helps. Touching ball.
Yeah, no value in going to the back end, so just go off the side cushion. Nestle up to the black would be as good as anything. You don't leave anything, and as I say, there's no advantage in going into the back end while that red is in the back area. You just leave an easy safety shot for your opponent.
John might be able to take that red now. And if he gets a good cue ball, he can make it quite awkward for Mark Selby. Just wondering if there is a possible path back down the table with a chance of taking a pot on, but he's got a lot of balls to avoid there. Yeah, can just sneak this one in, avoid the black. He does pick out some terrific shots. I tried a shot like this yesterday. He was further away and he didn't reach the green and left himself in all sorts of trouble. He'll be reaching it this time.
Mark Selby 1.
John have to find a red to nestle onto. Twice across. I suppose the red's near the pink. If he just landed on that, it wouldn't be too bad. The others you'd be looking for the two near the cushion, the right hand one, to just nestle onto that. But I think he's just playing into the side of the reds here. But he doesn't want to be playing it with too much pace. Doesn't want to push one into a potable position here. Just land on it. He's looking for.
Well, can he get through to pot this red? He's having a very close look. Can he turn it over with a trace of left-hand side? It must be close. It's interesting him. Thinks he can pot this.
Remember the great Fred Davis used to do that? You'd be sitting in your seat You think, I've got away with this, it won't go. And then he would take ages, Fred, and then go down and knock it in, and everybody would cheer.
Ooh, well, he just couldn't hit enough of it, as it turned out.
Did he play it with a little trace aside, John?
I think he did. Maybe turned it over a fraction too much.
When they're that close together, they're so awkward to judge.
But this frame, like the three before, feeding off your opponent's mistakes, you've got to punish them. And if John Higgins could go into the mid-session interval still with a three-frame advantage, after losing the first two, remember, he'll be job done. That's a chance, but I'm not going to take anything for granted here. You can feel the tension in the air. No easy shots now.
Safely in that pocket, cost him a couple of frames. He missed, well, certainly one easy pink into that pocket, but that's long gone from his memory bank.
Eight.
Played it well, but looking at John's face, I don't think he's got quite the angle he was looking for. He was looking for an angle to pot the pink and maybe run into these three reds. He's now desperately hoping that the left-hand one goes. It's tight. No, he thinks it just goes. I mean, the chances of John winning the frame at this visit, well, it's long odds for me, but
14.
He's desperate to get back in the frame points-wise. That'll be his priority at the moment. Does this red go? Boy, it's tight.
Well, he hadn't got a full pocket to go at, as you can see. Watch the red. It goes in off the left jaw of the pocket. Well judged that. And he's just looking to see if that back red of the two is available, so he must be pretty straight on the pink again. And he's got a slight angle, so he may be able to cannon them. On these lively cloths, he could force the pink and nudge the reds. So he's not too sure about those two. That was the reason he screwed back.
21.
That was a bonus to drop on that one. Back again looking. Still not sure. find out very shortly.
Well, he's convinced himself that the bottom red does go. And he was right.
28.
Oh, and he's run too far. He's just pushed that cue ball through an inch too far. Even a quarter of an inch. He's not on the pink. There you see it. So there's only a safety shot to
Green
play.
ball.
But he's reduced his arrears to only 5 points, so right back in the frame.
John Higgins, 28.
Yeah, just looking at that. If he had it over again, he'd have played a little stun there, which he could have done just to make certain the second red moved away a bit more. Head scratcher. But as I say, he's right back in the frame. Massive frame now, this.
Yeah, the yellow and brown are the target for John here. Tight on the cushion. He's got those two as snookering balls. And that's pretty good.
Thanks.
Judged perfectly. As you can see, that's all that Mark can see. There's only shot available to him, just to nestle on the right of the two reds near the cushion. I'm not sure if John would be tempted here to take this red up past the blue into the corner. He's looking at it. Keeping it tight because he knows they're going to the mid-session interval and he could still have his 3-frame advantage. So no risks at the moment.
Yes, and it's not a straightforward run back to the balk end here. The red in the middle of the table. As we zoom in. May have to just play a containing safety here. I think if he played the red in the middle of the table, he'd have to avoid the two reds near the top cushion. So play the red up and down and try and put the cue ball near the black. That's all he could do, really.
Three longish frames. Just because because of the way the ball's finished up. But it's still fascinating snooker. They're both so good in the tactical department, as we mentioned so many times. They're brilliant safety players. John just ahead in the safety success department. Where's the red going? Where's the red? Wow. Wow. All of a sudden, the luck has turned around, as we said. Sometimes evens itself up, but what a fluke that could be, because he's on the blue and he could play the cannon onto the two reds, or for the single red. He finished perfect. Needs to hit this with a bit of pace. And I'd love to be able to get onto the blue, because that's the one that would give you a chance of moving the two reds. He had to swerve around the yellow and then to flick the blue. But as I said, to get on to these two difficult reds, he'd have to screw back for the blue. Oh, he miscued.
Okay. 7.
At least he's potted it. He was trying to get the white somewhere near where the green is so that he could play a cannon. But that sounded, yeah.
Blue.
No, it wasn't the angle, but it's a good pot, but he could never get to the two reds from that position.
12.
7 points the lead now, but it's all about who gets the next chance.
John Higgins, 12.
Now, does Mark Selby take a risk and try and play a good safety here? It's risky. But he doesn't want to just roll up to them, because he'd just be handing the initiative to John, so... Well, he's put a little bit of distance between the balls, but not really put John under any pressure here. And this is the 4th frame of this session, and every one has been 20 minutes plus. Both players being extra careful, understandable. This frame now just coming over the half-hour mark. It's a long day, Dennis, isn't it?
As I say, Mark's being ultra careful. He's trying to find a difficult spot to put John Higgins', and he's trying to keep the red safe also. You normally would just get down and play off this twice across up the table, but he's trying to get the most difficult position he can to put John in. I'm just wondering if John will take the chance now to get in behind the yellow, swing this cue ball around. As I I say, at the moment, both players are just trying to make sure they keep the red safe also, but
Yeah. Okay.
he can go down either side of the table. The normal way would be to come off the right side of the red.
There he goes.
But he's coming down the left side of the table as we look at it.
Thank you, John.
There was not a lot to play behind going that side. I was surprised there.
It surprised me. I thought the first choice was to swing it round of 3 cushions and try and get in behind the yellow. Well, all this tipping and tapping not to leave a pot on. He's left a pot on here. Now the only thing that's concerning Mark, if he plays it plain ball, will he run into the black? Does he have to stun it to avoid the black? I think you've got to fully commit on shots like this. Could be a frame winner.
Do you know, I think he's got an angle on the green to pot the green and move this difficult red. It looks, well, it might not be a natural, but with a little bit of stun, and he's pretty good at this type of shot. He could pull this off, as long as he didn't double kiss the red. If he double kisses it, it'll stay there. Definitely be taking it on, that's for sure.
Green ball.
Big shot. Almost.
Yeah, and if anything, he just caught the green a fraction too thin.
Thorne.
I think if the green goes in the middle of the pocket, it'd have got the cannon perfect. Anyway, it wasn't to be, but it's an easy safety. Thin red, run the red into the black and get the cue ball back to the balk end. And you'd be unlucky not to get a snooker here. That's what he's looking at, thin red into the black. The only thing is, when the pressure's on, you're thinking, well, don't miss it on the way up and catch it on the way back. All these negative thoughts can come into your head. Got to clear your mind and play the right shot. And the right shot is thin red. Nudge it into the black. You've got the blue, the pink, the green to snooker behind. And he's played it very well. Is there a gap? No gap there. Advantage Mark Selby now. With the colours all available. The age-old problem for John Higgins. Hit the red. Can you get it safe?
Well, is there a gap for John to hit the top cushion? Just about. Yep. Have to swerve it slightly. And he had. And he's played it well. He's played it very well. That's a little beauty. That's the frame that will take us to the mid-session interval. As you can see, it's the longest frame of this final so far.
He's had a good kiss on the green. think John can get through to the red. And if he can put distance. That's what you're trying to do here between cue ball and object ball. The snooker is a bonus. The snooker is the bonus.
I'm right down the shot, and I think he's got the snooker, John. He's going to have to hit the ball cushion and come back, as you can clearly see from that picture. So he's got to go between the pink and blue. And there's not much of a gap there, but I think he can just do that, which makes it more difficult to control where the red will finish up.
He's playing the swerve. Left it. He's left it. This red cuts. So here's the chance for John Higgins to go out of this mini session. Well, a little tap on the table. I don't know why. This red looks cuttable to me. He obviously doesn't fancy it if he's congratulating him. So he's playing safe.
He really wants to hit this red off two cushions. He doesn't want to hit it direct off the ball cushion. He'd like to hit the side cushion and kick the red up the table. And the white might even come back towards the yellow and brown there. So it just depends if he judges it. And he has judged it. He needs a big bounce for the red, and he hasn't got it. This is a chance for Mark Selby, but there's a bit of pressure on this long red.
But it's the chance that he was looking for. 3 points behind. Red colour. And yellow, green and brown probably. And blue. In goes the red. Is he on the colour? Is he on the colour? Needs an angle on the blue. He's not got the angle on the blue. Needs a good shot now to get position on the yellow. You could play the blue. I mean, you could play the pink. It's whatever is going to offer you position on the yellow.
Well, that's where he'd love to get the cue ball anywhere near that circle. And he'd have to power the blue in to get right round there, or he'd have to play the pink to get there.
I think the only reason he's not playing the pink because the pink is missable. If he plays the blue, as you say, it's going to be an unbelievable shot. I think he's just going to roll the blue in and leave a more difficult yellow. Under normal circumstances, if he was a few frames in front, he'd play the pink, I'm sure. But the blue is unmissable. Now, how is he going to play it? With pace or just roll it in?
Yeah, he could never get it right round to where I had the circle up. He tried to, but it was so difficult because of the angle. That's where he was trying to get to, and he would have been absolutely perfect on the yellow, but because he was fairly straight on the blue, he was never really going to be able to get there.
Mark Selby 6.
No attempt at the pot, so John Higgins will be mighty relieved to come back to the table, and he's only 3 points behind. This frame still and truly well on.
that was about all he could do. Now, Mark Selby, if he can find the correct spot on the baulk cushion, he's got the brown, the blue and the pink to get a snooker behind. He sends the yellow up this end. Well, he could have played this better. It needs to pull up. This is a chance. He can get through to the yellow. I'm nearly certain he can see enough of it. Might be a guide if he passes the blue. And the white will head up towards the green. I don't think he'll cannon the pink. Well, he hit it thick. That's why he's cannoned the pink. Had he have potted the yellow, he would have slipped past the pink.
Yeah, well, I didn't even think he could hit that much of the pink, and I don't think John did either. But now, it all depends. The angle on the yellow. He's got to be careful. Well, looking at that angle, he's got to be careful. If he screws back too far, he could go in off in the middle pocket. So he's not going to be able to get as close to the green as he would like. That is definitely a deep screw in off to the left middle. So he's got to just judge this and leave himself a straightish blue, green, but not too close to it. That's all he could do. As you see the line, it had gone in off in the middle. So this is the big shot. 5 points the lead. Green, brown and blue to just be one frame behind at the mid-session interval.
The green was off its spot there, which did help.
Nine.
Always nice to win any frame, but to win the longest frame of the match is even better.
14.
What a tactical battle we had in these first 4 frames. Unbelievable snooker. And he has taken the mini session 3-1, and he's now only 1 frame behind. It's 11-10 to John Higgins.
Wow, that was a frame, wasn't it? 45 minutes worth of real tough, hard match play snooker. We thought we were going to get that really from the off, but this is the first time, in effect, that the match has slowed down to this degree, Steve.
Yeah, sort of blood out of a stone stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think possibly it's the nature of how it's sort of come to this point. It's not been ding-dong players just sort of like, you know, making nice breaks. It's been one guy got in front, the other guy had to dig in. And now it's just got a bit nervy, and now you can see full well why it's got like this. I think, you know, Mark Selby knows how to play this game. The respect from both players is massive, and it won't happen. It's not going to be like this all the time. I can't see that happening. Somewhere down the line, somebody's going to break free of that.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say, you guys have got so much experience in finals. You've been there, you've done it. And at this point in proceedings, you know, I'm sure. What are you experiencing at this point, John, when you're in the third session?
Well, different emotions from both players. Obviously, John Higgins has had that lead and he's been pegged back. Then all of a sudden he's back in again. Mark Selby's playing catch-up all the time. Nearly got there, let it go. So you're going through everything. And this is, rather like you say with you on the golf, this is like moving day, this third session. This is massive. It sets the tone for what happens this evening. You can see both players are trying not to make a mistake. Perfectly understandable. And it's hard snooker.
It is, but it's very enjoyable, and I hope you're enjoying it at home, because it looks like we're in for a very long evening by the look of things. Now, I know that Ken Doherty's watching this 20 years after you secured the title. And Ken, I was just going to ask you, when you came back to try and defend that title in 1998, you came up against a certain John Higgins, and it is remarkable to think that 19 years later, he's still trying to do something similar to Mark Selby. He's amazing in that regard, isn't he?
Incredible, incredible. He's there 19 years, such a tough match player. Probably the toughest since Dave Davis, but I think Mark Selby has probably taken over that mantle. It is a complete war of attrition, those first 4 frames. Both players trying to outdo each other, and I think they're just forgetting how to just play. What they normally do is try and play. Soon, as Steve Davis said, as soon as one gets ahead, it becomes a bit of a slugfest. And if I had words of wisdom for either player in that dressing room, I'd say just release the shackles, because if anybody can get a bit of a momentum here, they can go on and get a 2 or 3 frames and get sort of the balls open a bit and try and make some breaks. But at the moment, they're just trying to do each other. They've got bogged down, and the pressure is getting the both players. There's a massive session so far. The momentum is with Mark Selby. John Higgins needs to get a little roll, get his head together, and get back the way you can play.
OK, Ken, you always have words of wisdom. Now, if you were to tot up all of the numbers in this year's championship between the play here in the Crucible, but also a full qualifying event here in Sheffield beforehand, you would realise that we've played nearly 2,300 frames of snooker in the last few weeks. But what about the best shots within those frames? I wonder, you'll be the judge of this, but we've got a few starters for 10 for you.
Four cushions. What a shot. Fantastic shot. I thought it was possibly too straight in the pink to play that shot. It was excellent. The power it generated.
This is dead straight. You know, not this for a long screw back. This is a monster. Oh my goodness. You cannot hit the ball better than that.
No, that was a tremendous pot.
You can count the cushions with them. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll tell you what. 4. And there's the green.
What a shot.
Well, they don't come any better than this. Brilliant escape. Well, the snooker to boot.
How's this for a shot? How's this for a shot? How is this for a shot? Wow!
It was a cracking shot.
Well, he's coming off.
No.
Side cushion, top cushion, lots of right-hand side. This is risky. What a shot
Great
this
shot.
is. Oh, unbelievable! Unbelievable! What a time to play an exhibition come trick shot in the World Championship at the Crucible.
If he's taking this on, this is really tough. Oh, what a shot! That was incredible.
Screwing this off the cushion beside. What a shot this will be.
Oh, stop it.
Not only he's got it back, he's got a beautiful line. If he misses the brown, this is sensational. What a shot that was.
Well, mark that one, John. The best safety shot of the tournament so far.
Wow, look at this for a shot. Unbelievable. Wow. Screw off the side and top cushion with loads aside. Have a look at that for a shot. That is one of the best positional shots you could ever wish to see. This here was tremendous, really was.
So what is your winner? Well, you can vote now on the BBC Sport website by clicking on the shot of your choice. Voting closes at 7 o'clock this evening, and of course we'll bring you the result during this evening's deciding session. Who's it to be? Terms and conditions on the website. And also, speaking of voting, earlier on the BBC Sport website, we asked you to pick your favourite Crucible moment from the last 40 years, and a whopping 55% of those of you who took part picked the 1985 final between Dennis and Steve. It's funny, Steve, they never picked your 6th world title, did they? Never. And second, it was followed by Ronnie O'Sullivan's fastest 147 and Alex Higgins' triumph in 1982. Just console the boy, shall we? Now, shot E. We were talking about this a lot over the last week or so. It was Shaun Murphy's incredible trick shot when he was up against Ronnie O'Sullivan, and that's had many of you trying to recreate it. We asked you to try and do this actually last weekend, and you didn't disappoint. We had some fantastic entries, didn't we, John?
This is the cracker. Look at this one. And I like the celebration.
Beauty.
This is it.
No.
Well
there you
done.
go.
We're not sure how many attempts each had, actually, but one is very impressive. So, roll up. Ken Doherty, it's your big moment.
Yeah, fantastic shot, Hazel. And John Higgins just behind me saying, are you going to try and play this shot? Well, I am going to try and play it. He's laughing his head over there. He can't wait. So he plays it with lots of right-hand side. It hits the side cushion here. Then it takes effect off this top cushion here. Comes back at almost a 25-degree angle and hits the red and puts the red. So let's have a go. Now, I've had about 20 goes in practice. A few have gone in, a few have been missed, but this is the practice room. It's not the heat of the battle. 10-1, John Higgins says. Okay, let's see. Side cushion. Yeah. Well, you see what I mean. You see what I mean? It is the practice room. I knew we should have recorded this instead of doing it live.
No, we did ask him to do it live. Classic.
By the time he gets that in, it'll look like Robinson Crusoe.
But as you can see there from John Higgins in the practice room and us broadcasting here, there is no other event in world-class sport in which you've got the players and the broadcasters and the organisers living and working in such tight, close proximity. And it's an amazing atmosphere here at the Crucible Theatre, and it just makes you want to keep coming back for more behind the scenes and front of house.
I'm Rob Walker, Snooker MC.
It is so important that your contribution to the drama is at the start of the evening and at the appropriate moment.
It's just the best place in the world to come and be a part of live snooker. There is no venue like it anywhere in the world, because the place, the people and the players deserve everybody to walk through those doors thinking, right, I'm going to do my little bit to be a part of another great year of snooker.
A world-class weekend of live sport starts right here, right now, in Sheffield.
Mike Ganley, World Snooker Tournament Director. The atmosphere's still there. The fundamentals are still there in that arena. The people are so close to the players. The people sat next to the player's seat can virtually touch them.
Duncan Richmond, cameraman. The word unique is overused. Sheffield, the Crucible, is unique. There isn't enough space to work in, and then it becomes one of the most spacious venues to work in.
My name's Eugene James, table fitter. It is magic. It's great. When you've been to all the other venues all over the world, this one definitely special. When we service the tables during the tournament, the people are right behind you, and it's scary sometimes.
Jan Verhaas, snooker referee. I've walked out there 5 times as the final referee already, and to walk out there and through that curtain, it's an unbelievable feeling, you know. It's the pinnacle of your career, and you know, you can feel the atmosphere, the tension when the MC does the walk-ons for the players. It's just incredible.
I get a lot of stick sometimes on social media for being cheesy, but being cheesy is part of the role, because you're there to pump people up.
The Wizard of Wishaw, John Higgins!
You have to give it a bit of welly because you want the audience to give that back, not to you, but to the players when they walk out. If it's fun for me coming back in my little role as MC, imagine what that must feel like for the players. First time, 10th time, 23rd time. Must be amazing.
You cannot get closer to the crowd. There's no other sport in which we work closer with the officials and the players. One wrong move from you, you can put a player off. You know, rule number 1, we wear black. Rule number 2, player goes down in the shot, you don't move. The players know us, the players trust us.
I've always understood that as a referee you are a service to the player. It's not about you, and it's about the two players at your table. You've got to have the discipline to always be in the right spot and never be in the eye line of a player, never to move when the player is down on the shot, and obviously under extreme pressures make the right decisions.
All these people constantly walking around always makes the table move. They're not allowed to touch the table. We're sat there like bulldogs to make sure they go nowhere near it.
You never get bored of seeing that final day and then winning it, and not just because you want to get in the car and go home, it's because of the excitement and the buzz it gives those players as well.
The adrenaline pumps. The more exciting it gets, the more difficult it gets. I find the breathing slows down, the heart rate slows down, because you're thinking quicker and quicker and quicker. It's incredibly exciting.
When you see the great matches on the table, I don't think a lot of people appreciate how hard we work and what we put into it. I think it's just a satisfaction that you've seen a great game. That's the satisfaction I get really from it.
It's just been so special to be part of such a great event. It's very humbling, and you're watching people live out their dreams under the most intense, immense pressure. So it means everything that I've had a chance to be part of it.
We should all be proud year on year because the figures are getting better, the sport's getting bigger. This is going out to 60, 70 countries around the world. It's a team effort and we should all be proud.
I'm very proud, especially to be chosen for the 40th anniversary of the Crucible. I'm not the youngest anymore now, so yeah, you know, if I'm true to myself, I probably think this will be the last one. I'm going to be over the moon, and I'm going to be really proud, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of it.
Yep, it's one big happy family, although I have to say I'm quite looking forward to going home. No, I'm joking. I'm only joking. But it is an incredible event because you do have to work so close to everybody. And as I said in the introduction, I can't think of any other events in which we are all so closely knitted together here.
That's right. And in recent years, it must be said also, it's a happier family. When the game was being run by the players, there was all sorts of political infighting. Now I think it's far better set up and enjoyable to come here.
John, is this championship getting bigger and better every year, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And to be honest with you, this is where you're a player you want to be. You want to be coming, and this is what you want to be in a final like this.
John Higgins, 6-frame lead over Mark Selby has been cut once again to just the 1 frame, and time for a change in the commentary box now.
Thank you,
Many
ladies
years
and
ago,
gentlemen.
7 times world champion Stephen Hendry made his Crucible debut in a match against Mr. Maximum, Willie Thorne, and this time they joined forces in the box.
Thank you, Hazel. Thank you, everybody. The only thing you forgot, Hazel, was telling me the result. I'll remind them. Steve and I won, yes. It has to be said, this was real connoisseur snooker, the first 4 frames. One for the purists. Don't think you got involved in any long matches, Stephen, in your career, did you?
Yeah, probably because my safety wasn't good enough, Willie. But yeah, yesterday we didn't have a frame over the half-hour mark. I must admit, before the match started, I thought we'd have a a few 40-minuters. Today's gone. I think the pressure has been cranked up today. Final day. Yeah, the average frame time's just crept over 21 minutes. Yeah, 28 seconds is quite long.
When you think of the likes of those Sullivan and Trump are taking 15 seconds a shot.
That's an error. Very unlike Mark Selby. Yeah, I don't think the frames are going to be getting any quicker from here on in. Yeah, the pressure is just going to get higher and higher.
Under normal circumstances, John Higgins will be playing for the black here. I don't know whether he's going to do that here or play for the blue. Well, he's played for the black. I'm going to go to Stephen. Would he risk it?
Well, if he's in practice, he's straight into the bunch here off this black. He'll probably still play some sort of cannon, but it wouldn't be at the pace that he would play if it didn't mean as much. In fact, he didn't even play any cannon. And that's not the best positional shot he's played. That was a bit tentative, a bit negative.
8.
I think he missed the cannon. I think he must have played the cannon on that. The right hand read of those two that are together.
9.
I don't think there'll be anything negative about this shot.
Would you not think about playing the drift just to miss the pink and kiss those two reds? See if you go into them, would you?
Yeah, that's the shot. And he's been very unlucky. Okay, so he might have one up to the far left corner. He has got one to the right corner, but obviously the cue ball has gone into the reds.
14.
But if that red had just bounced off the cushion an inch, it'd have been perfect.
Well, obviously at first glance that looks an absolute terrible shot, but he's played to kiss the red half ball. I'm presuming John thinks he got a kick off the black, off the red, I should say. Let's just see if we can notice it. I would presume he's playing half ball on the one just above it. Oh yeah, the red and white jumped, so took all the spin out of the cue ball. He's put himself in trouble now. Didn't look so bad at that pitch, did it, Stephen? I don't know whether he'd just hit it bad.
Yeah, he hasn't got the right contact on the first red that the cue ball struck after potting the ball.
From Higgins,
played that well.
15.
That's amazing what the pressure does. I mean, chances like that. You'd almost bet your house on John Higgins winning in one visit from that sort of situation. Everything is difficult now from here on in. What a test for these two players.
Get the white in behind the green, he's going to have to play a stun, so he may play this thin and just miss the cannon on the blue twice across.
Maybe the red is a little bit further away from the left corner, but I thought it was maybe worth playing a double there. Maybe quite a big pocket, that. The red he played going across the table, maybe the red's just a little bit further away from Corner pocket, that's normally a shot that Mark Selby would spot straight away.
This has got to be a thin one. Oh, he's just playing the containing safety. I thought he was going to try and clip that very thin and get back to balk. It's amazing how every frame this afternoon has been this kind of pattern. The black's gone safe very early on in each frame. Neither player has yet won a frame at one visit.
Yeah, and the safety plays all been very negative as well. There's never not been many aggressive safety shots. It's all been about containing the situation. Both players just scared to give any chances.
Foul. John Higgins, 4.
At first glance, doesn't seem to be anything available now. I think what John Higgins can do now is play a telling safety shot. Because whenever you get your hand on the table, you should find the baulk cushion.
Good shot there. John Higgins covering the right hand side of the table.
Because the players have to have time to get ready for the final session. They won't start a frame after 5:15. So there's every chance this could be pulled off with at least 2 frames to spare. There could be only 2 frames in this session now, getting ready for the 7 o'clock session. It may only be this one. John feels he can get through just to the edge of this red. Doesn't want to be kissing the brown full ball in cue ball going back to balk. He's able to flick it round with side. He's kissed the blue. That was the important thing. Miss all the balk colours. He's kissed the blue. But once again, nothing easy available.
Well, if it is obviously it is the case that maybe this frame, maybe 2 more frames, and this one's certainly very important for Mark Selby. He'd love to get level.
And know you called it, Stephen, that you thought there'd be a couple of 40-minute frames in this match with these two great safety players, but looking at the whole tournament, Mark Selby playing so well earlier on, do you think Mark Selby should have played a little bit more open?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, he seems to change his game sometimes when he plays, you know, the sort of top players that he knows can really hurt him, you know, with scoring. Against Ding, a lot of his safety was, you know, thin clips, and doesn't want to put things in the open. And obviously, the way the session went yesterday, going 10-4 behind, but especially the second 4 frames of yesterday afternoon, John Higgins had a 96% or something pot success rate. I think he does decide to just tighten things up. That's not so good.
Yeah, that's a mistake. You see his head drop there because his red's available into the middle pocket. And if it goes in, he's bound to be on the green. So this is the first real chance in this frame, even though Higgins is 19 points in front.
It's amazing how much more difficult those opportunities are when you know the pink's not available, the black's not available. It just doesn't whet your appetite coming to the table where you know it's going to be so hard to score.
Thank you.
You're not as enthusiastic going for a pot.
What a result he's had there, though. Yes, you can smile. John Higgins is in real trouble. I think he's going to maybe have to take the pot on. The red, there's 3 reds in the line and just near the black spot there. If the third one will pot into the corner, I think he's going to have to take this on.
I mean, it looks a big pocket, doesn't it? That red is closest to the left corner. If he takes this on, maybe the red is just a little bit too far away from the pocket for one red to go in off it. Need to catch the second red very thick. There you see. But he might just get a clip off that red. Again, Mark Selby comes to the table with a chance, but not easy to score.
It's amazing the number of times a player plays a bad shot and all of a sudden gives him an opportunity to his next visit. Mark Selby missed that red in the middle by quite a long way. Somehow he's going to have to get onto the 2 reds around the black spot area with a chance eventually of bringing the pink into play, because this frame is very tough at the minute.
I wonder if he'll risk it here. If anyone has got the cue power to play this shot, Mark Selby's got it in spades. Put the yellow direct screw into the pink. He may think it's too risky. But if he wants to develop this to a frame winning chance, I think he can go for it here. Here it comes. Great shot. Great shot.
Well, that was a super shot.
Great.
Stephen called it, and he didn't really play it as hard as we thought he might do, but look at, he's cleared the pink spot. Now, can he get nicely on the pink? Because if he does, this is a great chance. Those 6 reds in the middle of the table.
4.
And under hit it again.
Well, as much as the last shot was good, that was bad. I mean, if you overhit this by a long way, you'll go up the table and you've got 4 colours up there. Be very disappointed with that. Although he's looking at the black. This would be handy. Get this back on its spot. Very friendly kiss.
Yes, this is, we just talked about when you sometimes play a bad shot, it can get you in the next time, but that bad shot on to try and get onto the pink has actually turned out to be fantastic now. Because this is now a frame winner.
12.
Okay, he's 7 points behind, but you'd expect him to pot these 5 reds and 5 colours.
I mean, John Higgins must have been sat in his seat when Mark Selby potted the first red to the yellow pocket, thinking, well, he's going to do well to win the frame from here.
19.
Within 3 or 4 shots, he's got the pink and black into play.
Mark Selby knows he can't win the frame without getting one of the 3 reds that are on the left-hand side. But he won't be playing a kiss on those reds early. He'll wait till he's got at least 3 of these reds and colours. Well, we didn't see this coming, did we, when he was 10-4 behind?
26.
The last 3 frames yesterday evening were just superb, Selby. But since then, he's just ground his way back into the match.
$27. $34. $35. $42. $43.
And now the real work starts. He may be trying to leave an angle on the pink here to move the red that's
50.
Tight on the cushion on its own, because knowing whatever kiss he gets on that red, no, he's not got the angle to do that. He could bring that red into play, but he won't be doing it from here off the colour.
51.
Would you be playing to get on this red to move a red, Stephen, or would you get the colour to move a red after this next shot?
I think the fact that you only need the red, you play it off the colour. Finish high in the black here.
58.
To the right corner. So you can stun off the cushion on a bit of side. The 2 reds that are close together. The one that's furthest away from the cushion, try and flick that away.
59.
So there's the half-ball black Stephen was talking about. And he will be playing that shot that Stephen called, the cannon into the red that's just off the cushion. Very good, unlucky. Okay, might have to take this pot down the cushion purely because it's frame ball. This may be worth the risk.
66.
Yeah, and the fact the red's touching the cushion makes it that much more gettable. And you have to think, even if you miss it, the position of the reds, it'd be some clearance for John Higgins to pinch it in one visit.
Yeah, what you would notice here with the mark as well, they play with lots of left-hand side to try and cover the pocket with the black, just in case it stays in the jaws. So keep an eye on the white ball here with loads aside. Mind you, stretching a little bit. Well, it's gone all out for the pot. There's the cue ball going.
67.
Very, very good. But you know that John Higgins is going to come back to the table unless Mark knocks his black in.
Mark Selby, 67.
So good break then from nowhere, break of 67. 48 points in it, 43 on. 2 snookers required.
Yeah, that really was a class visit to the table from the defending champion. Never looked like a frame winning opportunity.
Yeah, we're taking this on. There's a chance to level. He led 1-0, he led 2-1. Since then he's been playing catch-up all the way through this final. But he's not playing catch-up anymore, he's all square.
One in the frame. Mark Selby.
John Higgins conceded. Mark Selby largely used that break of 67. Draws level for the first time for a long time. It's 11 all.
It is. From 4 frames to 10 down, he's just won 7 of the last 8. We are 11 all, and we have a final on here. You were absolutely crooning about that break. What particularly did you admire about it, John?
Well, when it started, it looked like there was absolutely nothing on. John Higgins would be sitting there thinking, oh, go on then, you can have that. There's not many balls going here. But he played a brilliant shot off the yellow to come back and just play a little cannon into the pink. Now, it's all right sussing out the shot, which is what he did, but you've still got to hit it perfectly. And the pace he played that just moved the pink off, the reds away from the spot, put the pink in position. And interestingly, he played that shot afterwards, Steve, where he played it in a way for pink. He'd sussed out the black at pot. So we don't know exactly whether he played on pink and didn't get up. He knew the black was there, but very clever shots.
Momentum, certainly, with Mark Selby now, you got to say.
It certainly is. And halfway through that frame, it really did look like the match had completely got bogged down. And that break it could be the thing that kickstarts this game into life again. It was tough, turgid stuff. Tactical play was very important. But now Mark Selby, perhaps he's got his arm going. Perhaps John Higgins will have to respond.
One of his great features. I mean, he can be bogged down in safety exchanges for half an hour, 40 minutes, and a chance comes, and he makes a contribution like that.
Classic defence to attack from the defending champion.
John Higgins breaks off. Wow. He's got a lot to think about.
Just have a little look at this. Mark Selby talking to himself. Believe. I think it's coming out there. I think the key thing with John Higgins now, this is possibly going to be the last game of the afternoon session, Stephen, and that's definitely a benefit to John Higgins at the minute.
Yeah, very much so. It's interesting watching Mark Selby. He was eyeing up his opponent as well when he was saying believe. Oh. That was magnificent. He's finding a gear, Mark Selby. You're right, Willie. It's a good job this might be the last frame for John Higgins' sake.
8.
Yes, Mark Selby very disappointed. He'd like to keep going should he go on to win the frame at this visit, which is going to bring reds into play here.
9.
Well, if he does win in one visit, it'll certainly be time for another frame.
16. 17.
Well, there's got a nice angle in the black. You almost stun this off the cushion, left-hand side, into the bunch. Oh, it's just a little bit too much topspin there. Cue ball went out to the left. He needed to almost stun it. So the cue ball was going to go in a direct line.
Mark Selby, 24.
There you see lots of topspin on that cue ball. This frame might not last much longer.
Yes, it's the old adage, Stephen, isn't it? When you're playing that arc shot in the pack, if you ever catch one full ball, you're never going to get any movement out of the pack. So we'd be reluctant to have a re-rack here, so he'd probably play the first attacking safety shot. He's 24 points in front. And that's John Higgins has lost a bit of concentration at the moment. And as Stephen and I have just discussed, he'll be delighted to walk out now with only playing 2 frames in this second mini session, because he knows whatever happens, he can only be 1 frame behind going into tonight's session, and he needs a rest. I think he needs to regroup, rethink. A little surprised with that aggressive safety shot. He hasn't played one of those thick ones into the pack for quite some time.
Yeah, as I said, he was playing them in the first rounds when he sort of knew that he wasn't going to get punished. He knew he was so confident of winning, but maybe that's what he thinks. Maybe he thinks John's in a state where he's not going to punish mistakes. Dangerous to underestimate John Higgins at any stage. This sort of situation when you're playing safeties, bringing the cue ball back to the black cushion. So important, the cue ball tight. But then the first mistake, or the first chance, is normally a good one. Look at the way the reds are.
I don't think either player will be aware that this is going to be their last frame. Can John Higgins get back into this frame and still be 1 in front with the night session to play? Needs to find the cushion. He has done. Don't know whether this red cuts. I think you can see the red that's nearest the left-hand middle pocket. And he's just coming around now to look at the potting angle. He's not going to go in off if he pots it. He could well get on the black from this. That was a problem. He had to go for that.
There you go. One.
Well, the way the reds are, you'd expect Mark Selby to win this frame. Certainly somewhere between 5 and 10 minute mark, which means we'll get another frame.
6. Seven. 13. $14.
Mark Selby must be buzzing inside. Do you think he's clawed his way back into this match and could well take the lead
21.
for the first time since frame 3 where he led 2-1?
22. $29. $30.
Just about keeping his focus, Mark Selby. Putting everything into every single shot.
37.
Now is not the time to put in a careless one. A couple of pots away from taking that lead.
Yes, for John Higgins supporters, yeah, they'll be hoping this is the last frame of the session because there's every chance they could be playing one more. And
38.
I really can't see John Higgins winning the frame at the minute with the frame of mind he's in.
And there's that little careless shot. Okay, still expect him to get this pink. Cued it beautifully. He's definitely getting stronger and stronger.
44.
Mark Selby.
$45.
And that, of course, is frame ball. 67 left, 69 in front. So Mark Selby is definitely going to lead.
$52. $53.
Really has been a phenomenal performance. At 10-4 down, well, he looked all over the place. Since then, it's been a typical Mark Selby dominant performance. Now John Higgins nods his head. And that's 8 of the last 9 frames for Mark Selby. He's taken the lead. 12-11.
Well, the last time that Mark Selby was ahead was at 2-1, just about 26 hours ago. It's been a long, long time. But he seems to be all fired up now. This is a fantastic performance from the world champion en route, perhaps, to a third world title now.
Yeah, it's funny that John got left a real smelly cut in the middle pocket. We both said, Steve said, these are the type of shots, when you're under the cosh, you hit them thick. And exactly what he did, you know, and especially a shot where you've got no control over your position as well. So he didn't get it, and he left a great chance, and it's just what you'd expect from Mark, because he's really got the bit between his teeth at the minute.
Assess the psychology for us now, guys, because obviously John Higgins is out there. He's been keeping him at arm's length for such a long time, but now the initiative has gone to the defending champion here. What can he do to regroup, Steve?
Well, he has a different pressure on him now, and at some stage it may be the case that he can actually consider himself not exactly the underdog, but have no worries about that. Looking over your shoulder is a horrible situation on the snooker table. It really is, because it's a still ball game. You've got all the time in the world to think. It's not even a reaction game. And it may be that Mark Selby gets in the same position, but you've got to say, incredible performance by Mark Selby. It's not the first time he's done this in the World Championship final, so perhaps the confidence he got from the first time he did it against Ronnie O'Sullivan is possibly why he's actually not panicked.
But
I think John, sorry, I just think John's had the nod there just to tell him that there's one more frame being played in a session. So
there will be. It's
he's
confirmed.
just,
yes,
yeah, so he's just given a little nod there to the authorities to let them know he knows that.
And I think fascinating was that glimpse into the mind of Mark Selby when we saw him mouthing "believe, believe." Very seldom do you see someone actually articulate what they're feeling.
I mean, this is way ahead of schedule for him, because he'd have been looking to get out of this session. If he could win it 5-3 today, that would have been brilliant. He'd have been right behind John Higgins the final session. He's well ahead of schedule in this one.
Right, we go.
And of course, as Mark Selby breaks off, every chance of being too clear going into tonight's session. John Higgins somehow has to summon up all his experience and win this final frame. There's an interesting spectator, the green jacket winner, the Masters 2 years ago, Danny Willett, just on his iPhone.
Yeah, when Mark Selby left the arena, I was looking at John Higgins' body language, and it wasn't good. A bit depressed, which you understand the way it's gone the last few frames.
I think I detected slight bloodshot eyes in John Higgins there when we had that close-up of his face. I think he's going to need a chance to see with reds apart where it's almost impossible not to make 50.
I think the crowd would like John Higgins to win this last frame, I think. Bring both these players back tonight at 12-12. What a final session that would be. Good shot. Acknowledged by his opponent.
We just noticed John Higgins' eyes slightly bloodshot, Stephen. When you were winning, did you have trouble sleeping, or were you always okay? It's hard, isn't it, when you're playing?
Unfortunately, that was never a problem for me, but and I think it's an important. Well, you're in a fortunate position if you can sleep, no problem. Especially at this place for 17 days. It's amazing the psychology of snooker. Yesterday, the body language is complete turnaround. Both players. It was John Higgins that had the spring in his step round the table. It's completely changed. Now it's Mark that's prowling.
It's interesting as well. People talk about how great the game is and how many great players we've got right down to 128. But it all seems when we come to the Crucible. I mean, when we got to the quarter-final stage, I mean, every player was a top 8 player, apart from Steve Maguire, who is acknowledged to be a top 8 player. The cream always comes to the top in this tournament. Mark Selby's covered the right-hand side of the table. No avenue back to baulk from there. It's one of those where he may play it very, very thin with right-hand side and check it up. Well, he's sorted one out somewhere. Let's have a little look. The one 3 down from the pink. Looks like he's playing half ball off that, but just be very careful not to push the red over the right-hand corner with this safety shot. Very dangerous. And he's hit that terrible.
It's a horrible situation to be in because one bad shot just seems to lead into the other, the next one. You just want to play one good shot.
Must be a great feeling for Stephen, for Mark now, Stephen, the fact that he knows whatever happens, worst way he's going to be level going into tonight's session.
Well, if someone had said that to him at 10-4, he'd be possibility going into the last session ahead. He probably would have laughed at them. This is going to be a good positional shot. Not easy, this yellow. Just wriggled in. But it's got the position. Or does this red go?
3.
Well, once again, you can see from that picture that particular red doesn't go, but we can see one to the left of the black there that pops through the gap.
Yeah, the choice of 3 reds. The 3 reds in a line there sitting beside the pink. If he'd put the yellow in the middle of the pocket, he'd have been on a choice of those. The fact that he almost missed it, that's why the cue balls travelled further. In the end, quite fortunate to have that natural angle on that red to play for the pink.
Ten. 11. Yep.
Another thing for John Higgins sitting in his chair now, he's just had to witness 2 breaks of 67 and 58 16. In the 2 previous frames that Selby has won, so he's got to be thinking now this frame could well be over in a minute. Needs that pink back on its spot as quick as possible, that's why he's played for the pink there rather than blue, and he's finished absolutely inch perfect.
Gorgeous shot, really was. He plays a screw shot better than any player out there at the moment. Yeah, the frame of mind that John Higgins will be in, he'll be resigned to the fact that he's going 13-11 down. It's just the way you think, the ways this match is going.
23.
He's thinking, what's gone wrong? Just over screwed that by a couple of inches there.
This is very reminiscent to one of your games, Stephen, many years ago when you were playing Jimmy White and you were 14-8 behind and won 10 frames on the trot.
30.
This is a very similar pattern to this match.
momentum is the word in the long matches. When you get in a roll of winning frame after frame after frame, it's just sometimes so difficult for your opponent to stop it.
Yeah, the thing is with Mark Selby, of course, he'll be more confident now than he's been in any stage of the match.
Also, you do get a sense of your opponent weakening and wilting under the pressure. And it's about pouncing. Again, maybe the adrenaline, he's overscrewed that as well.
Yes, he's timing the ball now, isn't he? I mean, the shot he played from red to pink a few shots ago when the pink was on the brown spot, the timing of that shot, he didn't hit it hard at all. So he's absolutely pumped up now. He's really feeling in the mood, feeling like he's queuing like a demon. And of course, there's every chance now he's going to win the frame at this visit. A good position shot.
43.
I wonder what John Higgins will do. I mean, I would suggest he has a shower and tries to brush himself down and try to come back a new man.
44.
He's still very much in this match. It's not over by any stretch. I certainly would not be writing John Higgins off yet. But perhaps it's good that the session's ending
50.
now, though. You couldn't see a way back from if the match was ending in this session. As you say, go back, have something to eat. Just get away from the venue. Just, you know, spend time with family. Just a new
51.
New scenery. Just get out of this place.
The way he's played that shot tells me the red to the right of the black pots. Clearly. So this is a very good performance, having dogged frames, 40-minute frames. Mark Selby's produced 3 breaks over 50 on the trot, as he did last evening, when he closed the gap from 10-4 to 10-7, played some of his best snooker. These last 3 frames in this session have been his best snooker again.
Tonight, Willie, with John Higgins is concerned, would you think a different approach, maybe attack more tonight? It's 13-11 down, nothing to lose.
I think so, and the good thing about that, if that could happen, the pressure would turn.
Easier said than done. You can only play the balls on the table, but maybe play some more aggressive safeties, maybe take on the odd long ball more than you would have done, just to put Mark Selby possibly on the back foot. As I say, easier said than done.
And that was the key when he got his lead. He was playing at a lot quicker pace,
64.
opening the balls early, feeling great. It's so hard to do when you're not feeling good. But like I say, the fact that he's finishing a frame early in this session has helped him, because I wouldn't have fancied him winning the next frame. So this is frame ball. This to go 13-11 in front. Very well played, Mark Selby. The Selby balcony looking a lot happier now.
Yeah, he's won this session 6-1.
71. $72.
You wouldn't have thought there'd have been a possible century from when he came to the table again. The black's been tied up throughout this break. Oh, he's missed that, but I'm sure John Higgins will have his own shake. And in fairness, Selby was absolutely superb. Fantastic safety play. And in the last 3 frames, great breaks. He goes into the lead now by 13 frames to 11.
Well, from 4 frames to 10 behind to 2 in front at 13-11. He's won 9 of the last 10. And Mark Selby closing in on a 3rd world title in 4 years. And you've got to say, if he pulls this off tonight, this would be the most dominant winning period at the Crucible since a certain Stephen Hendry and indeed Steve Davis. Ronnie won his 5 titles over, what, a 12, 13-year spread? But this man is certainly closing in terms of Crucible history here. How will John Higgins rationalise and explain to himself what's gone on out there today, John, and indeed last night?
1 or 2 shots he missed last night just changes slightly to go to 10-7, but you've got to give credit to Mark Selby for that. But today, he's just been outplayed. It's as simple, and that takes a massive effort from a massive player to do that, because Higgins is just brilliant at match play. He's just been outplayed today, and the best thing about that session is it's just finished, because the way it was going and the frames and the way he was playing and how Mark was fluent in amongst the balls, there was only going to be one result. So finishing there, 2 frames behind, get out the venue and come back tonight.
How much life is left in this final for you, Steve?
I don't know. John Higgins has had his head scrambled here today by one of the greatest predators the game's ever seen. And he hasn't got much time to try and exercise all the memories this afternoon before he's back under the grill again. And if Mark Selby continues and starts off the session, which is always a big if, because things can change, he starts off the way he's continued it, finished off this session, John's going to be back in that seat again, wondering what on earth went wrong when he was 10-4 up.
Can you describe, for those of us who will never know what it's like to be out there, how your brain can become scrambled to such a huge extent?
It's awful, and I think Stephen Hendry summed up, he just wants to get one good shot. He couldn't get one good shot towards the end. He was struggling to play a safety shot. Desperation kicks in, and all you see are problems, but when your opponent keeps putting you in all the trouble and then knocks in the balls after, it's tough not to panic.
And how'd you get out of it, John?
Well, the best thing is, as I said to you, that session's finished, and come back and, you know, as Willie said, go and have a shower and come back again tonight and come with the same. They were talking about maybe play a few safety shots a bit thick, but you're playing against someone who's going to knock long balls, and it's so hard to play against.
Yes.
If anybody's got the resilience to do it and the doggedness in his game, a great champion like John Higgins has. But it does seem like the writing's on the wall, doesn't it?
It sure does at the moment, unless the Wizard of Wishaw gets the wand out and changes things around, and of course he's done this before. But this final is certainly a fitting finale to this 40th anniversary championship at the Crucible. Good evening, welcome to a very, very special night here at the Crucible.
Thanks, whoever thought this up. This is great. Okay. No, Ronnie, you know what to do.
17 days of this is fun. It's a fantastic tournament. It doesn't matter whether you've been here 1 time or you've been here 10 times. You still get goosebumps.
We're back. Crucible Theatre. And the world #1 defending champion, Mark Selby, is into the 2nd round.
What a shot! Oh, stop it.
Judd, there's obviously a little bit of discomfort out there.
What a magnificent victory for Rory McLeod. Absolutely brilliant.
He has pulled off one of the best comebacks for quite some years here at the Crucible Theatre, from 7-1 down.
Well, this is what they've come to see. Gary Wilson gives Ronnie a wrong handshake, and look at that, that's what it means to him.
I won't get involved with it no more because I'm not being bullied. You know, I just want to enjoy my life, and I'm not putting up with someone thinking they can threaten and bully me. Ain't happening.
It always seems to be Ronnie. I like to try and do my talking on the table.
He really is an animal.
He could have handed the initiative to Ronnie now.
Very solid performance from the 5-times world champion. Come on! Don't normally see that from Neil Robertson.
Long spider, just come off the rail.
I like his shoes, I really do. What a performance, and he beats the former world champion in the end.
Wow, there's some pressure out there at the moment. There really is.
What a tremendous match by these two great Chinese players. Ding Junhui goes into the quarter-final.
He's bossy this, is he?
Oh! I think he just caught his leg.
Oh, the pin's gone.
Just going to say, if that pin breaks, we're all in trouble here.
Big shot coming up from Rory I've nearly called him Rory McIlroy.
That's one of the best century breaks I've ever seen.
What a tremendous, almost flawless snooker from the current world champion, and he's going to be so hard to beat.
John Higgins is through to his 8th World Championship semi-final.
Barry Hawkins absolutely delighted to get into his 4th semi-final in 5 years.
He's made the highest break of this year's World Championship, a magnificent 146. Absolutely fantastic from this Chinese sensation.
No, I've got 146, new 147, isn't it? Can't even make a 146 these days and get slated for it. What would we do?
It's been a fabulous semi-final. Mark Selby gets into his 3rd final in 4 years.
John Higgins wins comfortably. What a final we've got to look forward to.
Yep, it's England against Scotland in this final, but I think this championship has shown us that the Chinese are coming here. Big style.
Oh, plenty of them. There's 6 in the top, and they were all in the top half of the draw.
Yeah.
So it was a bit unfortunate they played each other. Ding played a couple of his fellow compatriots there, and a great match with Liang Wenbo that went to the final frame decided. But look, there's a revolution going on there, and it's a matter of time before there's more players coming.
And Ding Junhui has certainly been a transcendent star here from his wonderful style. And I know that many people would love to have seen him in this final, but he'll be back, surely.
Yes, he will, but there's no guarantees that he will be the first Asian player to lift the world crown. It's just not that easy to predict.
It isn't. But we're not making any predictions about this evening either. From your point of view, how much mileage is left of this final, Steve?
I think there's the chance it's going to happen, but you just fear a little bit for John Higgins because Mark Selby looks like he's in the groove. John's got to somehow kickstart the engines. Not sure how he does it.
Well, as we saw from out there, Mark Selby certainly believes. He's been mouthing that. But I wonder how much John Higgins still believes that a 5th world title is possible, and indeed how much John Higgins has got left. We will find out the answers to those questions when we return at 7 o'clock in only 90 minutes' time. It's not over yet. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.